Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
Blue Coal presents The Shadow, a man of mystery who strikes terror in the very souls of sharpsters, lawbreakers, and criminals.
How's that for an intro? There you go. The strangest intro I've had this entire show. Folks, how we doing? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Just Joshing. It is April 15th, 2026. What a special day it is, man. That was The Shadow, the radio drama classic. And we will be discussing radio dramas and the greatness of it. But I want to open up and talk about the NBA playoffs. Man, oh man. It's okay, technically it's not quite the NBA playoffs. By the way, we're on YouTube today. Finally. This episode will be on YouTube right afterwards. So YouTube people, thanks so much for tuning in. But it's okay. It's not quite NBA playoffs, but it's almost. I mean, the play-in is like to me it's like the wild card, and the wild card of the NFL playoffs. That is the playoffs, right? So I think that the play-in is practically the wild card. But then again, like only 2 teams are not playing in the wild card in the NFL. Back then it was only 4 teams that weren't. I don't know, man. It's postseason. There we go. It's postseason. NBA postseason. And my goodness, let me tell you something. How about those incredible games last night? Admittedly, I had my sport media class, so I didn't get to watch all of the. Honestly, I didn't care for the Portland and Phoenix game. It was mainly because it's the 7 and the 8, which is still, that's a big game because there's going to be the team that goes to the playoffs. But then there's something about the 9 and 10 seed game that I honestly find more exciting. And everyone talks to, I heard, all these NBA experts this week saying, oh, who cares about the 9 and 10 game? It doesn't matter. It matters because you lose and you're out. It's March Madness. I mean, it's you move on. You still have to win one more game, the 9 and 10. But if you lose, you're done. And it makes it, in my opinion, much more intense. So I was excited for the Hornets and Heat game. And I feel like the Heat, isn't it a fact that they've played in like every single, since the play-in tournament's been a thing, I'm pretty sure they play in like almost every single play-in tournament. I don't know if that's exactly factual. I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm not entirely sure. But to me, that's extremely exciting. And people, I don't know why you're talking crap about that, about 9 and 10, because maybe there's the worst teams. It's still exciting. And yes, they're going to be the 8 seed. They could probably lose. If Charlotte wins the next game against, who was today? The Magic and the Sixers, I think. If they win that, then they play Detroit. And I personally, that makes for a very exciting playoff series. And we'll get specifically to the playoff matchups. But that makes for an exciting game. I understand. And then you have the Western, which is like the 9 and 10, the Clippers and Warriors, which we'll get to later. Maybe that one, like the OKC would probably win that in 5 games. But I don't know. I think the East is as wide open as it gets. I don't think an Eastern team will win it all. I think it's, and I'm jumping ahead of myself. I won't jump ahead of myself. But, anywho, yes, Charlotte and Miami. And that fourth quarter, man, was, I tuned in at the end of the third quarter when Kobe White hit that deep 3-pointer at the buzzer, which was huge. And it's like, oh my gosh, can this North Carolina graduate play? Can he outdo himself? Can he have any other bigger shot? Yes, he can. My goodness. The 3 at the end of the fourth quarter to tie the game, send it to overtime. My gosh. My gosh. And we already knew it was going in, because if you watch the Amazon Prime games, there's a delay. There's like this weird delay. It's like a second ahead that the commentators are. So the shot goes up, and Iron Eagle, a second before the fans see the ball go in the net, Iron Eagle's like, oh yes, or whatever. It's good. I think oh yeah is Iron Eagle's catchphrase. So that was a little unfortunate. I think Amazon. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Amazon broadcast situation in a second, but I had to just mention that because like it took away this, like, oh my gosh, you gotta hit it. We knew a second before it went in, or half a second, that it was going in, which I thought was very, very funny. Hold on, I'm gonna take a picture of this on air screen. But that makes it, that makes it almost like, oh, now I'm not excited because I know it's going in. Well, I guess it's only a second. It's not like it's a 5-second thing. There's something I did on the Mariners TV. They allow you to watch the Mariners game, and you can select what audio feed you want. And you can either have it be, the TV Aaron Goldsmith, or the radio broadcast with Rick Riz. And that's a cool feature to have, but the audio is just a little off, maybe like 5 seconds or so. So like, if Cal makes a hit, he'll make the hit, and then 5 seconds later, Rick Riz will be like, and there's Big Dumper with a hit. So that is a little off, but it is what it is. But like Amazon, like there's no way to fix that. That's just how it's been. So hopefully they get that fixed. But Kobe White, man, and I can't stand how much 3-pointers are attempted these days. The NBA is just a 3-point. And that's why I'll go to LaMelo. Well, I think LaMelo's shot at the end was awesome, seeing a layup. But that 3-pointer was insane. And they shot that quick. Like, they didn't, like, let the time. They were smart. They were down 3. They didn't waste any time. Catch and shoot. Almost like there was only 2 seconds left of the game. But no sirree, Bob. Just threw it up, hit it. Unbelievable. And then we go to overtime. And yeah, there was that technical difficulty that pretty much sapped out all of the overtime. But what had happened at the end is, I think, so they were up 5 or up 6. No, they were up 5. Charlotte was. Tyler Hero hits a big time 3-pointer. And then Charlotte almost turns it over. And I was getting flashbacks to Duke and UConn. Everybody knows what happened at the ending of that, with Mullins hitting that deep 3-pointer, with Boozer turning the ball over. I was getting some flashbacks with that. You know what I mean? And of course he gets fouled in the corner 3 from LaMelo. And I didn't tune in to see the LaMelo injuring Bam Adebayo. I know that's a big story. People are upset about that. But that would have been a costly choke, because he fouls them at the 3-point line as he's shooting. So Tyler Hero has to put up 3 free throws. At that point, they're down 2. So those free throws, he hits 3. Now they're up 1. And there's, 10 seconds or so. And they're able to get down to the paint. LaMelo Ball with a fantastic layup. And then that block shot at the end by LaMelo, and I'm forgetting the other guy's name. But just incredible defensive effort by the Hornets, and now they win. And I'm telling you what, I've never watched a play-in game that exciting. I remember, and people are dissing on the play-in tournament, and I think originally I kind of hated it. I don't have an issue with it now. I think it's actually fun. I could talk about, I think the in-season tournament is not great, or the All-Star game, but like, no, the play-in tournament's great. I don't have an issue with it. But anyway, it's fascinating just how intense it felt. It's fascinating that it felt like a March Madness game. But I think the one other game that would probably rival this game would be I think it was in 2021. It was the Lakers and the Warriors, and that was a 7 versus 8 game. I'm pretty sure. So the Lakers won that. They were the 7 seed. Warriors had to lose one more time, or they had to win, one more time, and they played Memphis, I believe. That was when the That was like the beginning of the very short Grizzlies and Warriors rivalry, which really wasn't a rivalry, other than that playing game that Memphis won. Golden State beat their butts in the next year, 2022. So that ended that whole. Oh, this is a rivalry. Well, Golden State took that one easily, man. And at that time that was very enjoyable. I enjoyed seeing that beef between John Morant, Dylan Brooks, Steph, Clay. Clay would just be Clay Thompson, great player. He's also one of the pettiest guys ever. Super funny guy. I think there was like a Grizzly that tweeted strength in numbers, and Clay, because that obviously, I don't know if that's still like their slogan, if that's the right word, but that was when in the 2010s when they were the dynasty, that was what they were, and when they won in 2022, I think Clay had retweeted that. I don't know what Grizzly it was, but I mean that's just some pettiness right there, man. Freaking bum. That was what Clay said after that. But my gosh, yeah, I got to talk about the Amazon broadcast. How can you have a technical difficulty? Basically, the game just went to black, and then it pulled up technical difficulties with just the music in the background. How do you do this? Amazon has like a zillion dollars, gabillion, jillion, whatever dollars, and they can't broadcast a basketball game. It's outrageous. Luckily, the game came back. If it still wasn't working by the time that the last 20 seconds of that game happened, that just incredible ending sequence, that would have been an actual tragedy. But Amazon, they locked in. I don't know how they were able to get it back. I have no idea, but they did. We were able to see the ending. So I got to be honest, like I hope that's not the norm. Is its only streaming services. Like it's not like all of the games on Saturday, like 3 of the 4 games on Saturday for the NBA playoffs are Amazon Prime games, and I just am scared that that's going to be the norm. And I hope that the NFL doesn't decide, okay, we're just going to, because people will tune in on Netflix and we're just going to make it Netflix games. They already make less people will watch if it's just streaming. If the NFL was to do that, I don't really know. I think the NBA, the viewership's been good because of like NBC. Like television channels are fine. I feel like they're gonna get less people watching. All they're gonna do is up the prices. There are people, especially NFL fans. We know NBA fans or NFL fans will boycott things. Like they'll say, "I'm never watching this team ever again." Or like we know that they're. Well, then again, the NFL is so popular. The NBA fans are probably more like, but you just shouldn't. People will not watch if the NFL, the NBA, all these sports organizations make it more expensive with the streaming services and make it more confusing. People will not watch. It's so easy, and we see the NFL. The NFL just seems every year to get much more popular. The viewership just constantly goes up. The Super Bowl's always almost outdoes itself. It didn't quite outdo itself this year, but it was darn close. Like you just keep it with normal television. People will tune in. It makes it easier. You're still going to be popular. We don't have to turn this into the norm. Because I think that it's such upsetting. It's just tragic, man. Like, we don't want that to be the norm. We don't want that to be the norm. But yeah, Amazon has all of this money and there's technical difficulties. I think that fans are going to lose trust. What do you do if Amazon was doing games, if they were broadcasting Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and that happened? Imagine Game 7, 2016, and we miss Kyrie's 3, LeBron's block because of technical difficulties. Or imagine like Jordan's last shot with the Bulls, technical difficulties. You get to miss the push off. It's not a push off. I'm just joking. It's definitely not a push off. That was clean handles. Michael Jordan hit that game-winning shot. That was his last NBA game ever, right? He never came back. Just like Return of the Jedi was the last Star Wars movie, right? There was never any other sequels. But anyway, yeah, so that's all I have for Charlotte and Miami. The Portland and Phoenix game I didn't pay attention to. I again it's probably because it was the 7 and 8 two teams. Admittedly, and I'm gonna try to sit up here and act like I'm this NBA expert. Admittedly, I haven't watched a whole lot of NBA regular season. I never really seem to. But I am always tuned into the NBA playoffs, always. But this specific play-in game, mainly because there wasn't like a loser, like there was no loser at stake, is probably why I didn't care for it as much. But Avdia is one heck of a basketball player. I watched the ending of it, watched some highlights. Avdia, man, is a beast. 41 points, 12 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. My gosh, what a way to step up big time, which sets up the Blazers and the Spurs Sunday night on NBC. That's exciting, man. Two young teams. I think the Spurs are going to have that series, but I could see that being a game 6 maybe. I think that the Spurs. Okay. So if we take in its entirety, I think that the NBA, the champions got to be a team in the West. It's either going to be OKC, Denver, or San Antonio. Like those are the big three for sure. And I think San Antonio's got a really darn good chance at making it to the finals. I think that they probably. Oh, my pick is that Denver will win it all this year. But San Antonio, man, has a good shot too. Now I'm trying to think like mathematically. I don't know, because that would be I would love to see that matchup. I don't know if that's a quarterfinal game, like a second round game, or Western Conference. If it's the Spurs and the Nuggets. I'm trying to think. I don't think that might be a round 2. I'm not sure what that would be for like where that place in the round, but that's a game 7 series. That will be some of the best basketball you've ever watched in your life. And I think that whoever wins that, if they play OKC next, again, I'm not really quite sure. Yeah, that would be the case. That would be a round 2 game. Either one of those two teams I see beating OKC. I think those are the top 2 teams in the WCF, I almost said WCC. The Western Conference is the Nuggets and the Spurs. That round 2 matchup basically defines who that reveals the NBA champion for you. But I'm really excited for the NBA playoffs. Everyone is excited, and rightfully so. Everybody's excited for the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. I'm excited. Like, that's a great series. But I think Denver can win that game in 5. I don't think that's game 6 or game 7 series. I think that's Denver winning in game 5. Maybe not. I mean, Minnesota's an incredible team. I just think Denver has it, man. They know the team. I don't think they played last year, so this will be their third playoff matchup in 4 years, I believe, because I don't think they played last year. So this will be a fun series, man. I'm looking forward to it. I just really think that Jokic is the best player in the NBA. I think he's the MVP. I understand SGA, and again, I'm not. Don't treat me. Don't take what I say as like this is right, because truthfully, I don't watch as much regular season. I just think if you take Jokic off the Nuggets and you take SGA off the Thunder, I think that the Thunder are still a better team than the Nuggets are. That way, Jokic is the MVP because he's more valuable for the Nuggets. I think that OKC is fine without SGA. I don't think Denver is as fine without Jokic, if that makes sense. Probably not, but that's kind of the way that I view it, because the way that Jokic just makes everybody around him better. He's got triple doubles every game. Guy's an absolute stud, man. Absolute stud. So that's why I think he's the MVP. But don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. The Knicks and Hawks, I think I haven't watched enough Atlanta, so I don't quite understand what's so great about them. Like, I'm not saying that they're not going to play well. I haven't watched enough of them to make, good take on that. I just think New York. I think Brunson is a great player. Karl Anthony Towns is a great player. I don't see why they couldn't win that game or win that series. I think the Cavs, should beat the Raptors. Again, the Blazers and Spurs will be really fun, but I think that the Spurs can win that series somewhat decisively. I think there will be some cool moments, maybe some cool close endings. But I don't know. Who knows? But that Rockets-Lakers matchup is really exciting too. I don't know the status of Luka. That's actually fascinating to see how he's doing. Okay, so they're going to... Oh, shoot. I'm not a Lakers fan, but I'd love to watch... I'd love to see them play. So Luka and Austin Reeves will be out. I think without those two, the Lakers are kind of cooked. So I think Houston wins game 1. Somewhat easily, but you never know. I have no idea. Now that I think about it, that would be tough. I don't know. Anyway, Clippers and Warriors is tonight. I'm a Clippers fan. I got my Clippers shirt on right now. Man, I don't have much expectations for the Clippers in general, and even if they make the playoffs, I don't have expectations. I am content with where the Clippers are at right now. Usually every playoff series I get way too energized, I get way too hyped up, and then when the Clippers lose, I get really super, super frustrated. And I think I set all these weird expectations. From where they've been at this season, I don't care what happens in the play-in. I don't care what happens in the playoffs. The fact that they finished the season above 500 is a flippin' miracle. They were, I think, 6-21, and then they just ended up freaking locking in. Since going 6-21, they went 36-19. And finished the season 42-40. I am beyond happy about where they've ended up. So I don't care if they get blown up, if they just get completely destroyed by the Golden State tonight. I don't care. The fact that they've made it this far is unbelievable. Now, I will probably have more expectations next season. They got a younger team. I think that Harden trade was great. I didn't have a problem with it when it happened. I'm very happy with having Darius Garland. I'm very happy. Now, I'm going to watch the game tonight with a smile on my face, win or lose. It'll just be fun to watch them play in the play-in. They made it this far. I am beyond impressed. Beyond impressed. So this is the first time, really, as a Clippers fan, that I've went into the... And people make fun of the Clippers. They consistently go to the playoffs. And it's always, first round exit. But I don't give a crap, dude. What they've done is so incredible. Shout out Ty Lue. I think that what he's done for this team is just immaculate. Immaculate. I'm very, very happy. So I will not be upset if they lose. I will be cheering them on regardless, man. They're my team till the day that I die. They're gonna win that championship someday, and I'm gonna just laugh at everyone's face. Be like, I told you it was happening. No, I'm not. I don't want to be petty, but I've been a fan of them for more than 10 years, and I absolutely love them. I don't care if they're one of the worst franchises in NBA history. They're able to turn themselves around, and they did that this season, and I am so, so, so happy. So, truthfully, no expectations. With that said, they're going to destroy Golden State tonight and destroy Phoenix and sweep OKC in the first round. Well, that's enough NBA talk. Okay, I'm excited about this topic. Old time radio, man. I'm just beyond blessed to be here weekly, once a week and sit here for an hour and talk into a microphone. I think that I've talked about it, I think probably plenty of times on this show. There's just something so special about audio and the way that you can truly be yourself. Like if you watch, a TV broadcast of some sort of talk TV, everything's rushed, man. Everything's rushed. And radio always has just been, it's like you're just, especially when you have guests on, Like when I've had Theo on, Reese on, Toph on, Isaiah when he's called in, it's just super awesome to like. It's just a conversation. It's just so casual. It's very like comfortable setting. It's just very like calm, and you're able to be yourself because you have more time. Radio is it's different timing about in terms of and there's obviously no commercials on this radio station, but like you have more time to be yourself and show personality. And I've always really I like that. I like listening to talk radio shows. I love listening to podcasts. I just love audio. I think it's just such a cool thing. I don't know how much though I've talked about on this specific show just the fascination I have with old time radio. More specifically, radio dramas from the golden age of radio. There's something really, really cool about it. Basically, and I'm not the biggest expert on this, so I don't want to, don't like I'm the same way that I'm not an expert in the NBA. I'm probably not an expert on this, but there is something really cool about old time radio and just the style. It was basically there were these dramas that were broadcast on the airwaves where and people would create some sort of narrative, some sort of story, and it's like watching a TV show, but you'd hear it on the radio. That I probably didn't explain that very well, but you would people would tune in and listen to these radio dramas, like kind of almost soap operas in a way. A lot of them were mystery related. Some of them were kind of detective themed stuff. But I think what's really cool is the way that you listen to it. You listen to these voice actors and there's sound effects in it. You have to use your head and picture what's happening with your imagination, and you have to be creative in your head. I find that like to be just a really awesome thing. I think it's really awesome. Some of the shows that I really like listening to, and I don't listen to a whole lot. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not an expert on this, but one of the shows I really like is The Shadow with Orson Welles, The Saint, Vincent Price. Honestly, anything Orson Welles radio related, I think is really cool. My media literacy professor in my media literacy class, my freshman year here, around Halloween, played the War of the Worlds version. It's the Mercury Theater on the air, their radio station, the Mercury Theater on the air, did this War of Worlds episode based off of the War of the Worlds, and it was famous because they treated it like it was a news broadcast. They treated their airtime like it was a news broadcast, and it had caused so much panic for people all around that listened because they believed there was a real Martian invasion that took place, and they present it like it's a radio show, like a newscast. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. And when my professor played that, I listened to the full thing afterwards. I was like, this is so cool. And I don't know what it is because I mean, Orson Welles, I think, is just such a creative genius. And the way that he used radio, whether it was on Mercury Theater or in The Shadow, I think that's really fascinating. That was what I played at the beginning of the show, was the intro to The Shadow. I think that was the first episode, was the intro for that. Dude, it's so cool. It's such a cool way to tell a story. Letting somebody use their mind, use their imagination to come up with the story is super cool. And I'd highly recommend this station on SiriusXM if you have it. It's just called Radio Classics. I don't know what channel it is, but Greg Bell, who's like the program host, just great dude. I was reading about him. He's just a really awesome guy. Who just knows all of these, old radio broadcasts. Like, that's something that's really cool. I think that's something that's super cool, man. Super cool. But I would highly recommend it. I listen to them on Spotify, like just the old art, like the old versions of it for like the Orson Welles ones. I don't really know who nowadays, like what if people really make shows like that anymore. I think it'd be really cool. We should bring that back. We bring that back. Which I have some ideas for some things with regards to this show and maybe kind of switching things up a bit. I would recommend staying tuned because I could have some fun with that. But yeah, man, it's just like it's super cool. There's something about the transatlantic accent, which I can't personally do like a good version of it. I basically like it's just like this old timey accent. It's like a blend of American and British, and it makes you sound kind of like this. I gotta let me. How do I read the NBA? To preview the NBA play-in today. It's like tune in at 7 p.m. to see the LA Clippers and the Golden State Warriors on Amazon Prime at 7 p.m. Like I can't. That was obviously the crappiest accent I could have done, but they would sound like that, and I think that's just I don't know makes it cooler. Obviously nowadays nobody talks like that, but I think somebody should bring it back, man. Make like some sort of audio drama where the people in it talk like it's like oldie, like old films. I think that would be something that would be kind of cool. I don't know if anybody would actually do that, but who knows? Maybe someone's crazy enough to try it. But yeah, dude, you just got to give a listen to audio dramas. They're really cool. As always in this show, we're always kind of all over the place talking about different topics. I got to briefly talk about the UFC fights on Saturday. I know most people don't really like listening to. I know people aren't, UFC fans. They probably don't want to like listen to somebody talk about it, but my gosh, man, some interesting fights. Yuri Prochazka against Carlos Ulberg. This is just, let me explain to you what makes the UFC so fun. It's just how unpredictable it is. This fight was for the vacant light heavyweight title. The old champion, Alex Pereira, my favorite fighter, was the light heavyweight champion. He vacated the title. He gave up the title because he's trying to go up to heavyweight and get the interim heavyweight title, which would be just unprecedented. That would be some of the craziest crap ever that actually happens. Now, there's no update on this injury, but Carlos Ulberg and Yuri Prochazka. Carlos Ulberg's this kickboxer. He has this really great punches. Yuri Prochazka's just this insane brawler. When it gets chaotic, you don't want to fight against him. But during the fight, Carlos Ulberg suffered this really serious knee injury, his right knee. Basically, his knee gave out, and every time he'd step backwards, his knee would buckle. And that just kept happening where he'd keep on like falling over because his knee was buckling, and you're like, oh, poor guy, like feel terrible for this guy. And you're thinking, okay, Yuri has this easily. And Yuri's like taunting him, he's like pointing at the ground, he's like, kind of flexing, he's like, come on, man, come on. And Yuri steps forward and boom! Left hook drops Yuri Prochazka and Ulberg knocks him out. It just goes to show the UFC is just crazy. It's okay if it's not your favorite sport in the world, if you don't like watching people punch each other. I understand that. It makes sense. I understand that people, aren't fans of it. But dude, my goodness. It's so unpredictable that you have to tune in. I love every single sport, man. I love the NBA. I love college basketball. I absolutely love the NFL. I get excited. I get so excited to watch the NFL when it's NFL season. I love baseball. But dude, you can't beat MMA and the UFC. And I know last week I was ranting about Dana. I still have, my feelings about Dana White. I don't respect him too much, but the UFC, man, the fighters are so special. As this mic falls over, just like Yuri. Like the fighters are so special. And I get excited for it every time I watch it, man. It's so fun. the White House card, and truthfully, like, I don't give a crap that it's at the White House. Everybody's making this big deal. This is a historic card. It's on the White House lawn. I don't give a crap if it's at the White House. I just want to see fights. I don't care. Like, cool. I don't care about the theatrics of it. I just want to see the best fights that the UFC can make, and there's some darn good fights on that card. It's not great. It was hyped up to be, this is going to be the greatest card in UFC history. It's nowhere close to that. It's still good. Ilya Taporia, Justin Gaethje, Alex Pereira, my goat, Alex Pereira, fighting against Cyril Gane. That will be a great fight. I'm looking forward to that immensely, dude. Just to see my goat Pereira get the interim title, that will be special. That will be flippin' special. I'm looking forward to it immensely. That's gonna be so good, dude. I'm so hyped for that. Woo, I'm getting excited. And that's not till June. In May, Hamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland, which will need all the security in the flippin' world because these two absolutely hate each other. Both absolute crazy guys, and I don't mean that as an insult. They're just both crazy guys that are gonna be hyped up for the fight. It will be very fun to watch. It's gonna be brutal, man. It's gonna be absolutely brutal. That card, I think. Then there's some decently good fights on that card. I mean, that main event in itself is just extremely exciting. I'm looking forward to it immensely. It should be fun. Now, folks, obviously we talk a lot about movies on this show. Because of school, I haven't been watching as much movies. I'm a big movie watcher. I got so many things on my watch list that I'm ready to talk about. But that I'm ready to watch, rather. The last movie I watched was on last Friday. Watched it with my brother. He had never seen it before. This was my second time watching it. I rewatched the movie Whiplash. And let me tell you this. I would argue that it's a perfect movie, and it may very well be the best movie of the 2010s. It is so good. So brilliant. I love La La Land, but this is Damien Chazelle's best movie. Like, I love La La Land. I think it's a masterpiece. It's a modern masterpiece. But this movie, there's something about it that's just so good. Basically, if you've never seen Whiplash, I don't know what you're doing, but you have to watch it. This young student is looking to become a drummer. And he goes above and beyond to be the best drummer he can be. And he gets into this, great band in this college. And this instructor for the band is an absolute lunatic. He drives, the main character's name is Andrew Neiman. The band director, Terrence Fletcher. There's something about saying that name. It's just like chills. Terrence Fletcher. He is an absolute psychopath. And he is ruthless. Just the way that he teaches his students to he expects perfection. And he's okay with that. He thinks that he's doing the right thing. At the end of the day, he just wants his own glory. He wants to make these, absolutely insane musicians so that he can get recognition for it. He's an absolute lunatic. And dude, the movie is it's a panic attack. I mean, it's up there with the Safdie brothers, like Uncut Gems. It's a panic attack. It feels like a horror movie in a way. The first time watching it, man, it was an experience I'll never forget. Just the not quite my tempo scene, seeing that for the first time, dude, I'll never forget that. You got to check out that movie, dude. It is so good. J.K. Simmons, some of the best acting in your life, and genuinely, brother. I mean, it is just so. I don't want to get into spoilers, but it works perfectly because he's obsessed with becoming the best drummer, and I think he is already passionate enough and determined enough, and somehow, some way, Fletcher makes him 10 times more determined than he's ever been, and it just absolutely ruins him. Absolutely, it's just such an incredible movie, man. Would highly recommend it. It's so good, and it's just a great film to talk about with people if they've seen it, especially just analyzing the ending. It's a very good ending. It's a very, I don't know how to explain the ending. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is, there's a lot of different ways you can interpret it, and I absolutely love it. Would highly recommend the movie Whiplash. I don't really have a top 5 for today. We'll check a look. Jeez, this microphone keeps falling. I'm going to take a look at any questions we may have gotten. I don't think we had any last time I checked. Yeah, we don't. Which is, hey, man, that's all good. All good, brother. All good. Yeah, no questions that were specifically asked, but I'm not offended. I'm not offended about that. But yeah, folks, man, we got some. I mean, this is again such a blessing to be on. We could have some fun with this next semester. I got some ideas. It'll be nuts. It'll be nuts. But like I did last week, I think we'll just play some music. Cause there's no questions that were asked. I don't think anybody wants to call in, which is, who gives a crap? That's totally fine. But we'll just do what we did last week, man. I want to play some music for the rest of the time. And as I try to get this YouTube thing figured out, that'll be fun. But we're gonna have a day where we just play, where I'm gonna just come in, and if I absolutely have to do schoolwork or crap, I'm gonna just come in and play some Orson Welles radio stuff. Because why not? That'd be fun. That'd be fun to do. But anyway, folks, I'm gonna get off of the Spotify and YouTube side, but we'll keep it live here on iZag, play some music. Should be absolutely fun. So to everybody listening on Spotify, thank you so much. Everybody watching on YouTube, thank you so much. It'll be a fun time. I'll see you next week.